sleepless nights and anxious days, leaving you feeling drained? Your peace of mind and restful sleep are not just priorities, they're necessities. In this video, I share how Valerian can calm your nerves, boost your mood, and improve your sleep. From the best natural sources to knowing when and how to use it safely, I've got you covered. And if you're new here, I'm Dr. Gayla Gorman, a licensed acupuncturist, naturopath, and author of What's Your Kryptonite? On this channel, I'm here to help you reverse the effects of chronic stress so that you can cruise through midlife and beyond symptom-free, so that you can put an end to common midlife symptoms like chronic fatigue, insomnia, mood swings, issues with gut health, and even weight gain. So let's get started by just talking for a few minutes about how Valerian actually works in the body. So GABA receptors are integrally involved in our mood and how really the digestive system works as well. It's interesting when you understand how everything is connected, because our digestive system requires rest and relaxation in order to work optimally. And so these GABA receptors have a soothing effect on your nervous system whenever they are met with the right component. So when GABA is working properly in your body, your mood and sleep will be enhanced. Any of us who struggle to sleep know there's nothing like a restless night of sleep to really wreck a mood the next morning. So it makes sense, right, that anything that's going to really improve your sleep will most likely improve your mood. But GABA is definitely one of those neurotransmitters. It's highly correlated with serotonin, and it definitely works to just produce happy brain chemicals in your body, your gut brain and your head brain. So to get your hands on Valerian, you might be wondering, like, what's the best source? And I will say that when you're starting to give Valerian a try, you might just want to try tea. Get some high quality organic tea bags and just try drinking a cup of tea in the evening and see how your body reacts to it. If you feel like you want to try increasing the dose because maybe you're not getting quite the effect that you're looking for, then you can move to capsules or tincture. So tincture is liquid herbs essentially. And just know that the difference between capsules and tincture is much easier to control the dose, but it tastes really nasty. There's just no two ways about it. And so you're going to want to dilute it in some water, most likely. What I tend to do if I'm using something in tincture form, I have a little shot glass and I'll put some distilled water or high quality water in the shot glass, and then I'll put the herbs in there and then I just shoot it, and it isn't too bad. So we don't typically find Valerian as a food. It would really kind of wreck the taste. And so you're going to have to use some of these other ways of supplementing if you want to give Valerian a try. So when is it most appropriate to take Valerian? Well, in this research study, in this article that I'm sharing here, the study demonstrated that Valerian could be a safe and useful herb for treating sleep problems, anxiety, and other associated health issues. So they're still looking into this and trying to determine whether Valerian is particularly useful to treat insomnia when there are higher levels of anxiety. But if you are finding that your sleep is disturbed and it seems to be primarily related to stress, then Valerian could be really helpful for you. They observed that it reduced sleep problems most effectively in children with hyperactivity. And so I really have some concerns about this. I would never want to be treating a child with some potent herb like this. I would definitely want to be looking at other things that are contributing to the root cause of these sorts of things. But if this is something that you want to consider, just know that you should definitely not do this without your pediatrician's involvement. This is, I think, a fascinating demonstration, though, of how powerful an herb like this could be. If you're looking at medication versus an herb, then I would definitely think that turning to an herb as a natural remedy would be preferable to the medication. But you just have to be careful, because any of these things that we talk about here are really just suppressing symptoms. So you don't want to be suppressing symptoms until you make sure you understand the root cause and you've done all the other things to reduce the toxicity and the internal stress, essentially, that the toxicity is creating. If you know that you have a problem regulating GABA, then Valerian could be a really good solution for you. It will help you sleep soundly and also deal with anxiety. Just know that stress and anxiety tend to go hand in hand. Anxiety is typically a symptom that some form of toxicity is causing more stress than your body can manage. This is an example of one of the countless ways stress creates symptoms and other health issues, especially during midlife. I created a video that shows you how to eliminate these symptoms naturally, so I'll make sure to link to it below this video. But make sure you hit subscribe too, because I share a lot of tips when it comes to dealing with stress that's become toxic. Relieving the nasty symptoms stress creates makes cruising through midlife a breeze. So what are some of the other benefits of supplementing with valerian? When we were looking at the article earlier, I mentioned that if you have an alternative between a medication, a prescription medication, and a natural remedy like valerian, valerian is definitely going to be a preferable alternative. You're going to avoid a lot of the chemicals that would normally be introduced into your system with a prescription medication. It's also going to have a relaxation effect, and that's going to help with your nervous system regulation. It's going to help with how your body manages other conditions, and even how it can use other remedies that you're introducing. As I mentioned, you need that parasympathetic nervous system, meaning that the rest response as opposed to the stress response, for your digestive system to work optimally. And just know that you want to start with tea, because that's something you can use in a small dose. Again, this is just another thing I mentioned previously, but it's worth repeating that less is often more, and you can always increase the dose. But since you know you're probably going to be using valerian to help with sleep, it's best to use it in those couple of hours before bedtime and use it as a tea. So some of the cautions, if you're considering supplementing with valerian, there are not insignificant side effects if this just isn't really the right remedy for you and it doesn't really address what you've actually got going on. And some of these side effects are what I refer to as the 3 Ds: dizziness, drowsiness, and kind of vivid dreams. You also want to avoid using valerian if you're taking other medication. So if you've already been prescribed medication, then you don't want to add valerian on top of that. You would need to titrate off the medication, get that cleaned up out of your system, and then introduce some natural remedy. And just know that these prescription medications are incredibly powerful and they can create dependency in your system. So you should never attempt to come off of a prescription medication without the help of the prescribing physician. Super important, and I just want you to know that no natural remedy can take the place of a medication unless it's handled really carefully. In fact, the valerian can actually increase the effectiveness of the medication, but you're going to have to be able to adjust the dose. So it's really important not to try to mix and match these things. And just know that it is possible for your body to become dependent on using valerian. So I do not recommend using anything, even something like this, a natural remedy, long term. You want to use it when you need it for a short period of time, and then you want your body to remember what it's designed to do naturally and then stop taking it. And if you go through a period of time where you're extra stressed and need a little extra help, then you know what works for you and you can turn to it again in a pinch. So if your best efforts to live a healthy lifestyle and do all the things you've been led to think are supposed to work aren't getting the job done, you may even be feeling like you take 2 steps forward and 3 back. In my next video, I'll show you how to manage the toxic stress that's sabotaging your efforts. You can eliminate the symptoms that seem to be piling up in midlife naturally, without medication, crazy diets, intense exercise, or any other unsustainable lifestyle hack.